Hello and a very good evening. Welcome to ELITETV. You're watching Open Debate in English. I'm your host, Chongtham Amirta, and today we bring you the topic, what next after resignation? We all know that after serving a little over 7 years, Sri and Biren Singh had submitted his resignation to the governor yesterday. But this was not just an ordinary resignation of a chief minister of a state, because the timing was such that his resignation has indirectly dissolved the assembly. As per our constitution, the gap between two sessions of the assembly cannot be 1 day more than 6 months. That crucial day is now, that crucial 1 day is tomorrow, which is the 11th of February 2025. The governor has also sent out a letter calling off the assembly session, saying that it is null and void. That was supposed to commence starting today. Now, is there absolutely a chance for an emergency assembly session tomorrow? We don't think so, because there has been no update so far. So therefore, starting from 12th of February, the state assembly dies out on its own. But again, there is news from around the corner, even from mainstream media across international news as well, saying that there could be a pick for a chief minister on the 12th of February. But that remains to be seen, because according to constitutional process, is that permitted? We shall discuss that again in this debate. And overall, the way that this was carried out just 1 day before the assembly session was supposed to start, this seems to be a very clever way to impose the president's rule. We may see a fresh assembly election somewhere around August, but with the approval of the parliament, again, the president's rule can also be extended for another 6 months, just like it happened in Jammu and Kashmir. But that's for another day, the discussion about that. But currently, what needs to be seen is that what is the status of the governance in Manipur? Is there a suspended animation? Although it seems to be, because as of today, there is no new chief minister. At least we just have a caretaker chief minister. Now, there have been a lot of talk regarding Article 355, whether it was imposed in the state or not. Now, will the central leadership keep this particular governance system again in Manipur in a sort of a gray area, without really giving out an order of what is going on the ground? So we will discuss on that, and also it remains we will discuss about what will be the steps forward after this resignation of Sri and Biren Singh. So to discuss on this topic, let us first welcome our speakers for tonight. Our first speaker for tonight is Dr. Arambam Noni, Associate Professor, DM University. Oja, welcome to Open Debate. Our second speaker for tonight is Oja and Satyajeet, Bureau Chief for UNI. Oja, welcome to Open Debate. And our third speaker for tonight is a veteran senior citizen and very renowned Pabung P. Sonamani, socio-political commentator. Pabung, welcome to Open Debate.
Oh, thank you so much, Amrita.
Okay, thank you all once again, and let's start with the debate and discussion right away. I'll start first with Oja Noni. Oja, the timing, particularly I will be focusing on the timing of the resignation. The resignation has been submitted just 1 day before the assembly was supposed to commence. Now, before that, my question to you is that, do you think that by submitting the resignation just before that day, just before the commencement of this assembly session, and as per the constitution, again, as I said in the opening remarks, that there need not be a longer gap than 6 months, but that expires tomorrow, which is on the day after tomorrow, which is on 12th of February. So according to you, do you think that the legislature, the 12th Assembly's legislative assembly has dissolved by itself, and in fact, by definition, is the PR already in effect in Manipur? This is the question, first of all. Oja Noni, what do you think about that?
Thank you, Amrita and ELITETV, for this wonderful initiative to talk about the problems in Manipur as we witness a lot of issues relating to constitutional provisions of the country. I think, to begin with, these questions have been looming large over the state of Manipur in terms of changing the leadership. And I think I see these first as a problem within the BJP uh, party. And if you look at the kind of trend that has been happening for the last so many months, it looks like the central leadership is actually now in a mood to sort of open up to the issue of changing leadership, because it is also possible that there's a possibility of reinstating the same person as the chief minister. It is also possible because constitution has the provision to re-elect the same person as the chief minister of the state. It is possible, provided that he has the support of the council of ministers and his legislative council. That's number one. The other issue is that, as per the constitution of the country, there has to be at least two sessions of the Assembly oblique Parliament in a year. And the budget session, of course, is very important because this is the session that has to be done, because it has to do with the issue of setting up the state's budget and related to finance related issues. So what I feel is that, as you rightly pointed out, there has to be not more than the 6 months gap between the sessions, and also we need to have at least two sessions in a year. You may have more than two as per the provisions of the constitution, but it looks like the state government, the Manipur government, is not very likely to have more than two sessions in a year. And moreover, the postponing of the latest schedule of the assembly session by the governor actually opens up a very, very important question, whether the constitutional mandates in the state of Manipur will be kept intact as far as the session and its durations are concerned. So that is a question that is truly on the part of the government and the lawmakers and the lawkeepers, particularly the role of the governor to actually call the session of the House is very, very significant. The other issue that I want to flag up is that the issue of constitutional provisions being properly implemented in the state of Manipur has been a big, big question mark for the last at least so many years, particularly in the context of 3rd May. As many people have been arguing that the right to free movement of the citizens in the state of Manipur has been completely restricted. People belonging to a certain section of the community cannot go to the hills, and vice versa. So these actually are a blatant violation of the constitutional provisions of the country, because you have provision of the constitution that is supposed to ensure the free movement of citizens. I think we have a bigger question of constitutional provisions being properly implemented in the state of Manipur. That's one of the aspects that has to be kept into account. Talking about the same issue of the respect and the need for talking about the constitutional provisions, whether it has been implemented properly in the state of Manipur, we also have been arguing that the state government, which is duly elected, has been almost overshadowed by the central leadership, because you can always see the state leaders and elected members going to Delhi and choking out the problems of the state, and they come back and everything seems to be decided by the central government, which means that the party system in India has its own problems. That is, in a national party, the autonomy of the state parties or state units are very, very less. And particularly in the context of small states like Manipur, it looks like they really have a serious crisis, serious problem of not having their actual say in the policy making, or even in terms of selecting their leadership. Now, if you look at this issue, what we feel is that from the provisions of the Constitution and the sanctity that the elected members of the state government or a state legislature, that the kind of the intensity and the amount of freedom they are supposed to actually enjoy is not really coming up. Now, coming back to the discussion today that we are talking about, it looks like the central government is working out on a process of selecting or nominating one new chief minister. It looks like that way. And if you look at the sources of the media, we have heard that 12th of February is going to be very important because there is going to be a meeting in Delhi, as we have heard, subject to correction. Now, overall, I think, just to summarize what I've been saying on this particular round, what I feel is that there are issues of constitution which has to be kept into account, because the state government, state assembly has to have 2 sessions at least a year. That's number one. Number two, whether this session will happen immediately in a couple of days, that's a big question. And what will be the implication? That is again another point. On the other hand, what I feel is that small states like Manipur have gone through serious breach of legal procedures as far as the functioning of the elected government is concerned. On the other point that I want to raise is that the national party, which are big parties, actually have almost overshadowed the regional autonomy of state units. And you can aptly see in the case of state of Manipur, where every decision of the state seems to be in the hands of the union or central leadership. And this is, I think, not very, very healthy for any state like Manipur. The last point that I want to flag up is that the question of changing CM has been going on for a long, long time. And what will happen next in politics is something that nobody can predict. But if you look at the problem that we face today and the kind of trend we have encountered, it looks like there is a possibility of changing of the leadership. The other point is that if in the meantime, the same incumbent chief minister is going to have and is going to prove that he has got the real number to support his candidature as a chief minister, you never know. He may also be reinstated as the CM again. It is possible. So on the whole, I think the possibilities in Manipur is something that nobody can predict as of today. We can only have inferences, but cannot have any conclusion. So I think over to you.
Extremely good points, Noni. I think you highlighted a very key issue that's underlying in all of the policies in the state that's directly coming from the center, is that the center sometimes really pick and choose which constitutional provisions to apply in Manipur, because there have been a selective application of provisions and legal areas when it comes to Manipur, and which is why there is a lot of question from the regional, especially from the state, of whether we are being treated differently and all of those things that I wouldn't like to go at that moment. But on that note, I'd like to take this question to Satyajeet, that the race for the new chief minister is on. There's a lot of key names being propping up of becoming the next new chief minister. So anybody can be a chief minister at this point. But my question to you is that it's kind of similar to the question that I also posed to Noni, that considering that the legislature is automatically dissolved by not holding another assembly session, at least by tomorrow, do you think I think that all of the representatives, especially the 60 MLAs, cease to hold their power and their seat, because by technically the legislature has come to an end by not holding the assembly session. Now, with the race for the new chief minister going on, do you think that that is constitutional? And also, doesn't that also automatically lead to PR and fresh elections to be held in the state, at least within 6 months? So what are your thoughts on that, the race for the chief minister, or do you think that the suspended animation will lead to PR or another fresh elections in 6 months?
Amrita, the constitution is very clear, and we have to follow the constitution. We have to abide by whatever is written in letter and spirit in the constitution. Article 174 clearly says there has to be at least 2 sessions within 6 months. There should not be a gap of 6 months between 2 assembly sessions. And now The last one, if I remember correctly, was in August. Now it is within tomorrow or day after tomorrow, it will be 6 months. So there will be a constitutional crisis, and I think the government of India and at least the governor must be aware of the situation, and they must be looking into it. And if there is a constitutional crisis, there is a possibility of the government of India promulgating Article 356, that is President's rules, within, say, by today or by tomorrow, so that there will be no constitutional crisis. And promulgation of Article 356, it may be just suspended animation, not dissolution. Suspended animation in the sense that all the MLAs, they will have their rights, they will have their privilege, and by a proclamation of the president, all the powers can be restored and a new government can be formed. Those are the possibilities. Okay. And this has to be very fast, because we have a very limited period of time, that is today and tomorrow. So I think the center must be aware of the constitutional crisis, and they must be consulting all the legal experts, the Solicitor General and the Advocate General of the state. The government must be aware of the constitutional problem, and I think the government will look after it, and they will not allow the government to collapse also, because it still has 2 years time, and anything may happen if election is held, and those are the possibilities. And the other possibility is what is really unfortunate for us is, a leader of the BJP, of the 32 original, and now with the additional 5 MLAs, 37 MLAs, they have been, I think, as per media report, they have been asked to come to New Delhi, where the leaders will be chosen. That is very, very unfortunate. A leader of BJP legislative party has to be done in Manipur. It has to be done within. It has to be done here, and so the leader has to be chosen here. That is the problem. I don't know why they have been asked to come to Delhi. That is very problematic. We have a distance problem because it takes a whole day's time to go up and down. I think the best way is to depute some persons from New Delhi. They can be called as observers, and they can be asked to look after who is the next leader. And the other possibilities is in Manipur we have 32 MLAs. Now they have been divided into various factions as per report. By deputing an observer, a leader can be chosen. And if a leader is chosen, we may have a smooth transition of power. Manipur requires a very smooth transition of power, because if we do not have a smooth transition of power, there will be problems in the future. And the other issue is the possibility of the center asking the state MLAs to choose the leader amongst them. That doesn't seem the scenario, because Y. Kemchan, the minister today, the former minister today, he said that he will do whatever has been asked by the center. The central leadership, they will take the shots, they will call the shots, they will take all the decisions. That is very unfortunate. That is the dilemma of Indian democracy, because we do not have the system of selecting our own leaders. And the other problem is the center must be really aware is that it will be considering a scenario where the next leader will be acceptable to all the people, because we are going through a crisis, and this is an unprecedented crisis, and some people are not ready to talk to the government. Some people are not ready to come to the negotiating table, and so the government of India will be thinking of a certain leader who will be able to command the MLAs, who will be able to command the people, who will be able to command the situation, because nobody will want to become a leader in such a crisis. This is a very critical crisis, and the center must be aware of that. Whoever comes to power, who becomes the leader, has to be a responsible person. And the other scenario which is really possible is if the BJP MLAs are not able to elect a new leader, or if there is no consensus, then it is pretty much sure that there will be president's rule, because Article 356 will be imposed. So I think all the BJP MLAs, they have to act in a very, very responsible manner. They should be accountable to the situation, and they should know what the real situation is. And the other problem is, I think the governor at this time, the governor is a constitutional position under 153, Article 153. He holds the position. He also holds executive power under 154. Under Article 163 and 164, he has to choose the leader. And I think, the other situation is, it is his duty, or it is his responsibility to see who comes to power and what is the scenario. And now the entire attention at this moment is the governor of Manipur. And the governor of Manipur and the center, they are, they are really responsible, and their actions will be watched by the entire nation in this scenario. And the other possibilities in this aspect is, as I said earlier, 1 day of President's rules. There is suspended animation, so that there will be no constitutional crisis under Article 174, because there has to be a gap of, there should be no gap of 6 months between two assemblies. Those must be. But I am not a legal expert. I think so. The government must be looking into it. So whatever situation arises, let us hope that the leader, whoever emerges, the leader will be able to bring peace in Manipur, restore normalcy, where all of us can start a new life. Thank you.
Indeed, that's the whole pint on the new leader. In fact, I think that people really are desperate for a new leader, leadership change, a regime change, and also a resolution to the crisis. Very good points, Satyajeet. I will come back to you in the next round. Now, moving on with this debate, I will come to Pabung Sonamani. The question that I'd like to pose to you, or the answer that I'd like to know from you, is that particularly why on February 9, the former Chief Minister, should I say it, the caretaker Chief Minister, agreed to submit his resignation. Because what led to this resignation? Because there have been multiple moments where he could have resigned, starting from 2023 to 2024. There have been many tragic incidents where people have been clamoring for his resignation, and then he did not resign at any of those moments, and ultimately just on the day before the assembly session was supposed to commence, he submitted his resignation. Do you think that this is because of his fear of the no confidence motion that was supposed to be raised by the opposition party on the floor of the House, or was it because he could not be able to, he was not able to prove his numbers, or do you think it was because of his dissenting MLAs within his own party? What do you think led to this resignation at this particular day, Babu?
Amrita, good evening, and thanks for inviting me, and my regards to my two colleagues, the participants. Amrita, this is, our government, earlier government, or likely to have another new government. These are all the puppet government. We have surrendered our fundamental rights to the headquarters. I will not say to the government of India, but we have surrendered. Our leaders had no any principle, had no any capability, and for the leadership, so we have become a puppet government. So either the Honorable Chief Minister, or when he resigned and handed over the resignation letter to the governor, it is from his own will, or rather he was being pressurized, or his leadership was not being liked by the headquarters, the BJP headquarters. This is we are thoroughly in chaos. But from the field and from our observations since the last few years, there is a double engine, what they call it, and what the people in their own language, what they term that there is a double engine. Double engine means, okay, it is good up to some extent, but the state government should exercise her own rights. State government apparently had surrendered that her rights. Every moment, every issue, every cases, apparently that has to seek the opinion or the approval from the BJP headquarters. I will not say the government of India, BJP headquarters. This is how the government had been functioning it. So that is the reason. Of course, Sri Biren, he might have his own opinion. He tried his best, what he claimed himself. And also we see that up to some extent he did whatever he could think that it was better for the community and for the society. But there is again another group, the Chin Kuki Jo terrorist group. They have totally undermined him. They have totally sideline. They said that as long as the Mr. Biren remains in the throne of the chief minister, that they will see that in no way that they can come in under the umbrella. These are all the chain cookie terrorists, the illegal immigrants, their notion, their idea, and they're successful in this respect. Now the present scenario the political scenario for the electing of a new leader in Manipur is really, really questionable. Please imagine. Some of them, they have been running from post to pillar, as and when the Delhi desire, as if they are supposed to breathe, even they have to seek permission from the headquarters, from the Delhi. So this kind of things, are very silly things. It had been fomenting it, and it had been, coming up, or it had been going on from a long, long ago. So I have in my capacity, when I work with the government in another state by 38 years, I have never seen such kind of a scenario in my life. And even after retired too, I had been watching it and I had been seeing it, and it may not be that entire everything 100%, but I had been watching it and seeing it other states' affair, that this kind of situation has never arisen. We have indeed surrendered our own rights. The state government has been entrusted. State government has her own right to function, and what she thinks that she can exercise it. But unfortunately, these our fundamental rights have been totally that we have surrendered to the headquarters of the double engine. So this is our greatest drawback. We have our fundamental own rights. People say that if there is a rain likely to be in Delhi, then here's the umbrella will be bus open it here, so that as if the rain will be protected from here. If this kind of attitude that we are surrendering, that our power, our rights, our moral rights, our ethics, everything it. So now this coming within couple of days, hopefully, that Mr. Sambit Patra, he is the Northeast the party leader, as well as he is a member of parliament, or he functions a lot of important things. We do not know how he is going to select. This is my own calculations, or in my presumption. How he is going to elect, or how he is going to select. This is elect or select, rather than the elect, it is going to be selected. So this is the best, this is the questions what we are ordering it. We Manipur citizens, we take it a very light way. Anyone whosoever comes, either through proper channel, or by hook or by crook, appointed by from Delhi or from the other parts of the planet, okay, chalta hai, that kind of things, we take it very easy, very light. We are not a sensible persons, we all Manipur people. Now, present context, the government of India had apparently accepted the feeling and the suggestions of the Chin cookie terrorist demand. As long as that Mr. Biren remains in the throne or in the chair, in no way that they will come under the umbrella of the peace negotiation. Now, the government of India, it seems that government of India has accepted, although it has not come out in the black and white. But after watching and after our keeping an eye, or since past so many months, it seems that government of India has fully endorsed. Otherwise, the government of India will not have mounted such kind of a pressure on the Ministry of the Manipur.
Right.
Now everything depends on the government of India and the headquarters of the BJP, double engine headquarters. Our leaders, they may be running from post to pillar. The Mr. So-and-so may be running for the chief minister. Mr. Biren Singh, he is another veteran leader. Now Mr. Satyajeet is there. Then one of our stalwart in the politics, like our Mr. Govindas, who had been elected every now and then, and who had remained in the ministers in the very highest position. He is the now senior most here now. We do not know who is going to head, either the Mr. Satyabrata or Mr. the Govindas, or the Bishajeet, or maybe the Mr. Radhesham, or maybe so many others candidates. We do not know. This is a very, very, in a way, laughing stock We do not know exactly. And again, the assemblies, within the 6 months, this time is going to be expired again. My eminent, my both colleagues, they have already categorically, they have already highlighted it. And I also fully endorse. And it is most likely that the president rule is likely to be imposed because 356 already it prevails. Now there is a 352 article, then 355 article is already prevailed. Then again 352, then 356, then PR. It seems that government of India is likely to impose the president rule because our leaders,
on that note, I'll take
they have
that
no
point
principle.
Yes, I'll take that point to the next speaker because we are in a constraint of time for a bit for today. So, Ajay, you mentioned a very good point. Now, I'll come back to you again in the next round if possible. Now, coming to Oja Noni, regarding the PR imposition and also selection or appointment of a new chief minister, the question is that, my question that I'd like to know from you is that, will the resignation of Sri and Biren Singh bring peace and normalcy to Manipur? Because that is the big question everybody wants. It's not necessarily about, maybe the issue was a leadership mismanagement, but the key issue, the core issue is that we do want peace and normalcy back in Manipur. So if a new chief minister can a new chief minister do that? And also one other thing is that, can the new chief minister be someone who can exert or exercise federal powers given to him as per the constitution? Because if he turns out to be another chief minister that is, always waiting for the say-so of the high command of the central leaderships, I don't think that there can be any change in Manipur to be in effect. So first of all, can there be peace? Can there be normalcy? And will the new chief minister in fact be able to raise the flag of Manipur maybe to higher standards than it was the last time? Oja Noni.
Wonderful questions, but not very easy to answer. First, what I would like to say is that we are heading towards a constitutional crisis in the state of Manipur.
Right.
If you talk about Article 356, or if you talk about Article 355, of course, I think we are heading towards some serious constitutional issue. And I think that is going to be the main problem, main concern for the days to come. That's number one. Number two, I think we are heading also towards suspended animation. If you look at the logic of the politics that is unfolding now, and in order to avoid that constitutional problem, I think it is very likely that the governor may opt for suspended animation, and that will keep alive, the party, and also it may actually cushion in the problem within the party. If you look at the state of Manipur, the BJP seems to be divided in at least two camps within the elected legislative members, one for the incumbent chief minister and the other for the dissident group. So in order to resolve this, I guess, and I feel that the central government has very little option because the incumbent CM seems to also have his own, support base. May not be in great number, but at least I think he has shown that he at least is going well with at least 21 members. Now, if you happen to probably opt for a new CM, I think the division within the party may not be easily resolved.
Right.
So for time being, I think if we look at the timeline of the constitution also
Oja Noni, just to interrupt, yes, Oja Noni, just to interrupt, there also is the issue about the 10 Kuki MLAs who are very much against the current chief minister, who are openly against the Biren Singh government. So what about them? Can the new chief minister negotiate with them as well?
I think there are two statements which I have read in the social media and the newspaper. I think from if you look at the newspaper reports of Indian Express and Deccan Herald, it seems like one of the Kuki Zo leaders, they have argued that the new CM will also be like old wine in a new bottle. That's a kind of metaphor they have used. That's one aspect. But on the other side, we have also heard from other sources that if there is a change in the leadership, the Kuki Zo MLAs probably will also come for a talk with the new incumbent. That is also being reported. So it's very, very unclear. But what I feel is that there are issues which will be still difficult to, resolve, because the government of India has to, particularly the BJP central leadership, will have to play a very important role in terms of bringing together these dissidents and the non-dissident groups, and particularly the cookies or MLAs. That's one aspect of the problem. The other issue that I feel is that if the central leadership is going to press the dissident members, and including the cookies or MLS, to come for a talk on the table, there is a possibility of, breaking the ice. And so far, I think the central government and the central ministry or the party, the BJP party leader, central leadership, hasn't come very clear on this. So it looks like, they're actually buying time.
Okay.
As they buy time, the timeline for the session to be conducted is also lapsing. Since the time is also lapsing, there is going to be a constitutional problem, and in order to resolve that crisis, probably we are heading towards suspended animation. And in between that, it is very likely that the central leadership will try to calm down the dissidents, and within probably 3, 4, 5, 6 months, it is very likely that they will do a lot of homework inside and probably come out with a new leadership, maybe after a couple of months. That's possible. But in terms of, on the question whether there will be peace or not, I think it is going to be very, very difficult, because it looks like the cookies or MLAs are actually adamant on the political question of their separate whatever homeland, and I think which is completely rejected by the incumbent chief minister, as well as and more likely from the central leadership as well. But I think this whole claim for a separate administration has been used as a bargaining method to actually kind of arouse this ethnocentric division of people on and try to kind of see all institutions from the lens of the ethnic division. And this is not going to be acceptable. Even if there is a new incumbent chief minister, I think that same framework will be there, because Manipur cannot be divided on ethnic lines, as we have seen a lot of problem because of these ideas. So over to you.
Indeed, old wine in a new bottle seems to me that's what the people are quite afraid of, to be honest. Even though there's a leadership change, there's a lot of in many social media comments, it's like it will be the same thing. There's no difference. It's like somebody are already giving up that, saying that Manipur is even in the political sense kind of doomed, because that's the voice of the people currently, and that's the expectation. What many people are saying, that Manipur is practically doomed, and there cannot be any change, even if there's a leadership change. Yes, Arambam Noni, you raised your hand.
Just one more point.
Yeah.
I think if you talk about peace, if you talk about securing the integrity and the tranquility in the state of Manipur, I think we need to build a political culture that can also have a dialectics with the central leadership, maybe the BJP or maybe the central government.
Indeed.
And I think that gut feeling is very important, and that gut feeling is about people and maintaining peaceful coexistence. It's not only about a game for the throne. Thank you.
Very good point indeed, and yes, very good point. Now, moving on with that note, Satyajeet, I'd like to pose to you this question that I think constitutional crisis is quite imminent, and although you also mentioned that in order to avoid that, there are so many other provisions that can take place. Now, the question is that regarding the budget allocation of the state, which was supposed to be introduced in the assembly, and it was supposed to be voted and discussed. Now, the assembly session is now called off. What about the budget that's supposed to be responsible for giving out salaries for development works and all of the projects that's still going on in limbo for a few months? I think there is a constitutional provision of vote on accounts for that, I guess. But my larger question related to that is that considering there's a PR and then governor is president's rule or the governor's rule, is this a clever way, a very clever way to impose another indirect central rule in the state of Manipur? It's two questions in one, Satyajeet. First, please give us a little explanation regarding the budget allocation for the state for this year, and also, suppose there is PR in the state, do you think that will that also lead to another way of the center ruling directly over the state of Manipur. Your thoughts, Socio?
Amrita, I think whatever money that is used by the executive, that has to be passed by the assembly. Not a single paisa can be spent without the approval of the state assembly. And it is passed for 1 year. But the problem is, if it is not passed, then the money cannot be used by the executive. It has to be passed. Then the other issue is, if it cannot be passed for the entire budget for the entire year, both on accounts, just for 4 months can be passed, just to give salary and other emergency purposes, that can be done. Those are the provisions under the as specified in the business rule. And the other option is, if there is no assembly, that is, if this president's rules, then the budget will be discussed in the Indian Parliament. It has to be passed by the Indian Parliament. Because if the budget is not passed, nothing can be used. No money can be used, and it is a very lengthy process also, because every department-wise has to be discussed. The budget has to be presented. It has to be discussed, and then it can be used after a bill is present. That is appropriation. So there are different phases of passing a budget, so that there are checks and balances. And so we need not fear about it, because if there is no assembly in Manipur, it will be discussed in the Indian Parliament. That is the solution. And it happened in the past also, during a president's rule, and in all the other states where there is president's rules. And the other issue is, the government of India has done a very unique approach to the Manipur crisis. It has decided to remove the chief minister just 1 day ahead of the state assembly session. That is to avoid an embarrassment to the government of India, because BJP was rejoicing a victory in New Delhi. It was very happy that it was able to win in New Delhi after a game of 27 years. It was a landslide victory. After that, it doesn't want to lose another foothold in the northeast. That is Manipur, a very, very prestigious state. And the Chief Minister of Manipur, Sri Biren Singh, he is the first BJP Chief Minister in Manipur who completed a full term, that is 5 years. And the problem started in the second year. I think Mr. Biren, he is also a scapegoat if we analyze the situation, because he was not in full command during the entire last almost 2 years, because everything seems to be taken over by the center. So I think whatever are written in the constitution, whatever are in the books, the center has done something which are I do not want to use the word unconstitutional, but some extraordinary steps have been taken which are not acceptable to the people, and which are not expected of a very senior leaders who are sitting in New Delhi. So those are the decisions that have taken, and those decisions have led to division of the people in the state. That's very unfortunate. They have divided the people, and the very unfortunate aspect is, New Delhi leaders, they have been meeting us on different aspects. Like, they do not meet us as people from Manipur. They meet us as we are people belonging to Meitei, and people belonging to Naga, and some other group. That is very, very unfortunate. The time has come for New Delhi to see us as people, not as ethnic groups. The time has come for New Delhi to see as people who thinks and who eats just like as they do. And the other concept is, New Delhi should stop thinking us as a part of a region which is a burden to it. Rather, it is Manipur is a very prospering quite well. It was doing quite good, and those are the aspects which I want to. But I missed out the second question. I think I covered the budget provision, but Amrita, I somehow I missed the second question. If you can just remind.
Yes, my question was that the timing of a PR or a suspended animation is quite crucial, because ever since there, even if there was a state assembly even before the resignation, the state government was functioning purely on an indirect central rule. Now, if the APR is again imposed in the state, will that continue for another 6 months? Do you think that that is again one precedent for the state to completely take over the state machineries?
Amrita, it wanted to, as I said earlier, it wanted to avoid an embarrassment. If the assembly session had been held as scheduled, then there would have been a political crisis. There was even possibility of the ruling MLAs fighting among themselves. There was possibility of BJP MLAs voting against the party leaders. That would have been an embarrassment for the BJP. So I think they have done a very tactical, they have dealt in a very tactical way. It is good for them. They have done it, they executed in a very, very good way, though it is not good for us. But the other problem is, there are only two possibilities now. The central BJP central leader, it can choose to even, it is possible, because if you look at earlier also, when Shankar Singh was the chief minister, the then Union Home Minister Bhutta Singh, he called up the state leaders here, and there was almost a coup. Kedri Chandra became the chief minister at midnight. So there can be midnight coup. Anything is possible in politics. So the best possible way is to choose a leader that is possible. That can be done tonight also, because in politics there is no office hour. Everything is open. Anything can be done. And any orders can be issued at any other time, because it is a political decision. And if there is nothing is done, then there is a strong possibility of president's rules being imposed with suspended animation. Okay. But for the suspended animation, there is no time frame. The government of India, after imposing suspended animation, whether it is 1 day or 2 days, at any point of time, the procedure is the President of India will issue a proclamation stating that President's rule has been imposed or it has been revoked. So it is just a normal procedure, and there is no time limit for it. It can be kept for whatever period the center wants. So it is in the court of the center to do what is good for now. I think whatever we were discussing today, it had everything, the onus lies on the center, and nothing lies on our state leadership. But the problem is, the one thing which the people of Manipur want is, the time has come for the state leaders to stop kowtowing, to stop bowing to the central leaders, and to assert their leadership, to assert to the central leaders that they are also leaders, and the central leaders should also speak to them on equal terms, not as though they are something superior, I think. And that is the issue which the people are not very unhappy. We want our leaders to rise to the occasion and speak to the central leaders as they are on equal terms. And the center should also stop dictating the state leaders, and the state leaders should become the sort of leaders which the people want and lead us to a new Manipur which we all dream of. Thank you, Amrita.
Very good point, Satyajeet, indeed. Now, moving on with our closing remarks to Pabung Sonamani, there is one question that I'd like to pose to you. Is regarding the statement given by Congress leader Shri Rahul Gandhi and also the Congress Northeast in charge, Girish Chongtham. They said, first, Rahul Gandhi's statement, he said that among the three reasons that he gave for Shri Biren Singh's resignation, he said that he was afraid of the no confidence motion that was supposed to be brought up in the assembly. Now, and what the Congress in charge of Northeast had said, Girish Chongtham, he said that Shri Biren Singh, his resignation has, the whole Congress statement is that the resignation has come a little too late, and if he had resigned a little bit earlier, I think they said that a lot of the cost that have been incurred could have been reduced. I think they were mentioning about a lot of lives and a lot of destructions that went along the way. So he also even mentioned that Shri Biren Singh needs to be investigated for all of those crimes. Even we all know that there is a case in the Supreme Court regarding the audio leak that has his voice audio, and it was also done. It was also, there have been a lot of forensic experts checking on that, and there have been a 93% match as well. So my question ultimately is that what is the fate of Shri and Biren Singh after this? Pabung Sonamani, please put that a little briefly. We're almost running out of time.
Yes. You see, the fate of the Mr. Biren Singh, he has already tendered resignation, and either he's against his will or that he is being pressurized. He had already tendered resignation from his own volition. Now we cannot blame in any manner.
Okay.
Congress allegation, it is quite habitual. Many of them, without having any foundation, also they go and asking, they go on charging, they go on and creating a lot of irrelevance issue. They bring it up. This is their habit. No problem. They're in opposition. Now the opposition game is over. They wanted to see that Mr. Biren is being removed, but he has tendered resignation from his own volition. So there is no questions of removed. So Congress their effort is failed now. Secondly, they have said that the cases about this, some audio about the former the Honorable Chief Minister Biren is being leaked out. That may be correct. That may not be correct. We do not know exactly. Since the investigation is going on, okay, in that way they can do it. That is they have their own fundamental rights. And they say that if the Mr. Biren Singh would have resigned earlier, then the many people's life would have been saved. No, this notion, I beg to differ it. No, that's not the way. If one section of the people, let me put up these questions to the government of India and to the opposition leaders. Why they have not said that why the Chin Cookie Joe terrorist group, when they have massacred, they have genocide, this entire cleansing of the entire one particular community, why the Chin Cookie Joe, they have not, the Congress and the INDIA party, why they are not vocal, why they are not come up, and why they have not charged this Chin Cookie Joe terrorists. So also the other side of the government of India, she has remained silent. Apparently, government of India wants that the lingering and more the innocent people are being got killed, and others. So this is how they think that the Manipur can be controlled, Manipur, the peace can be brought. No, they have already killed more than 200, 300 people, 50, 60,000. They are displaced from their own house, from their own rights, their own life is completely ruined. So there is the player is the Chin Cookie Joe and the government of India. But does not the government of India till now realize that who are the persons who are responsible for genocide and for the cleansing of the entire one community? Why the government of India is taking so long? And on top of that, again, their political satrap, they're sending day by day and calling up again the MLAs or ministers, come forward, Secretary, you explain to this, you do this, then. Why our leaders, our MLAs, the Speaker, our Chief Minister, our ministers should go every now and then? See, exactly their political entity, they have totally failed to maintain. The status of the state head of the government also totally failed. The others member too. They are also without the permission of the state government. They have been off and on, going on in the pestering, just like you're moving around and falling down the legs of the political part, the political satrap who are sitting in Delhi. So this kind of things are very, very, very peculiar, and this is how that we fail. But the Congress demand is they have already fulfilled, they claim it, but they have a long way to go simply by the accusing and the abusing and the pull the legs of the government. This is not going to solve the issue. Mr. Biren Singh, He has done his from his own volition. He has resigned it. Now nobody can question it. He has been asked to look after maybe for days or for a couple of days or maybe for the 1 month or 2 months till further order. So he is a kam chalao sarkar. He is a for the couple of days, you look after this the way. But very much likely, this is infighting between the BJPs too. But we should not forget that Mr. Biren Singh, he has got his 14, 15, his own members. If he happens to walk out from the BJP even too, if he will go along with his 15, 16 members, that he is quite capable of doing that. So there is a totally chaotic. But whatever might be the reason, finally, I would like to urge that Manipur leaders don't play like a childish way. Don't surrender your own positions. You are an elected members. You cannot become just like a servant, or you cannot just become a bearer, or you cannot become a shopkeeper, one salesman, that as and when that the owner or proprietor wants, hey, you come back here, you ask me explanation. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You have done this. No, sir. No, sir. You want to remain it? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go back to Manipur. This kind of practices I have never seen in my life. In my 83 years life, I have never seen. This is something a very unbecoming and very obnoxious and despicable behavior being, meted out by the Delhi people. So Manipur people or Manipur leaders, you are a leader, you are elected local, you are a local elected, the people, you are the leader. Don't you know that your position, your prestige, then your rights. This is how the Amrita, we are also chaos. Whatever we discuss is nothing is going to change it. Delhi is very adamant. Let the Manipur people die, no problem. Our baat chalta hai. Peace talk going on 5 years, 10 years. You all other communities people, Chinko ki jo militants, you go on firing, you go on killing, whatever you want. Because government of India has remained silent. I am not saying the government of India is totally, they have ignited or they are behind them. No, not at all. The circumstances compel us to speak and to believe that government of India is not very keen to solve this issue as early as possible. They would like to lingering. And chin cookie Joe, what about the crime committed? What about the drugs and what about the many things going on in Assam has become the hub of the drug. Drug peddlers, everybody from the Mizoram or from Manipur are being caught in Assam and Meghalaya. This credit goes to, up to some extent, Mr. Biren Singh. Had he not checked today, the old poppy plantations are being destroyed, Manipur would have been in the hell, and our identity would have lost. So
Yes,
there is
indeed.
a merits,
Yes,
demerits.
Prabhu.
I
Yes.
cannot totally blame the Chief Minister
We're almost coming
Biren.
to the end of our episode, and Pabong, I think you've made a very convincing and very good point that now is not the time to pick fights with the former with Sri and Biren Singh, because he has already submitted his resignation of his own volition, and now we must look forward and not backwards. Indeed, a very good point from Pabong as well. And on that note, we have come to the end. But before that, I'd just like to summarize and also give a little bit of a concluding remarks based on today's topic. With the State Assembly almost on the brink of a constitutional crisis, there's a lot of raising questions, and Manipur is now entering a challenging time, raising a lot of questions about leadership, about governance, and even democratic process. While some say that the president's rule could be a necessary reset for peace and some order, while others also say that it could be an erosion for the state autonomy. But what happens in the next few days will determine the future for the state of Manipur and also for its stability in the long run. Now, on that note, we will end today's program. I want to thank my speakers once again, Oja Dr. Arambam Noni, Oja and Satyajeet, and also Pabong P. Sonamani for joining us and giving us your thoughts and insights. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Amrita. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you all. And I would like to thank our viewers for tuning in tonight. We will be back again next Monday with more exciting topics. Until then, this is Amrita signing off. Have a good night.